when I got drafted, I went into cadet training. I had a high enough IQ, and I went to cadet training. Went to Wichita Falls, Texas. Went through basic training as a cadet. And right before we were supposed to graduate, they needed gunners. So they shipped us all to Las Vegas. And we went to gunnery school in Las Vegas. That was back in 1943. We arrived in Southern Ireland. And the pilot says that we were off course, and that was Southern Ireland. We all said land, land, land. Because if you land, they were a free state. They weren't in the war. We'd have got interned there when they had to go to war. But anyway, he turned around, went up north, and we landed in Northern Ireland. I think Belgrade, I think. And then they shipped us to a base in England. The base was Bury St Egmont. I think about 70 miles northwest of London. And that's where we started out our missions. There was a 10-man crew. There was 2 men in the waist, and there was 2 of us in the waist. Started out to fly 25 missions. Got shot down on our 33rd mission. It happened so sudden. Evidently my oxygen supply got knocked out, and the pilot told me that the plane dropped, that both right engines were out and there was fire in the wing. And the plane dropped, almost rolled over. He said, just dropped like a bullet. I think we went from like 28 or 25,000 feet down to 17,000, which the pilot thinks it was less than 17,000 because so I was out of oxygen from 25,000 to 17,000. I didn't have any oxygen. And I don't know how I survived. I didn't fall. I think the good Lord kept me up. I landed in a little village. There must have been maybe 8 or 10 houses. There's a park bench where they used to gather. I missed that by a couple of feet, and I hit the ground. I rolled like a ball and got up, and there was this old German from I think they call him the Volkstrom or something. And he had a rifle pointing at me. He kept hollering, pistol, pistol. I said, no, no, no. He put the rifle down. I put my hands down. He bring the rifle up back and forth for a while. And so finally, I got up and walked over to the bench, and he put his gun down, and a young girl, about 10, maybe 11, come up to me and she said, don't worry, they're not going to hurt you. And I had a silk scarf. I took it off and I gave it to her. And then after that, they start bringing the rest of them in one at a time. They sent us to, I think, Munich. And then from Munich, we had to walk to they had an interrogation center there where they put you in a room, they ask you your name, I gave my name, and they want to know where you came from. So my number, my ID number, I gave my number, and that's it. So then I got thrown in the dungeons. Stayed there all night. The next day they bring you back up again. Start asking the same thing. They want you to sign something. Put the names of whoever you came with, I kept telling my ID number. And I don't know how long it went on. One time they put somebody else in the dungeon with me. And we were told that they do that. So you start talking with them, you don't get friends with them, and then you ask you questions, you tell him what they want to know. I didn't talk to him, he didn't talk to me, so he must have been an American. And one of the days when they called me up there, he told me he had that paper out there, and I just took a pencil and I put a big X on the paper, and he smacked me, and I fell off the chair. Then I got shipped to a staging area where I guess they decided where to ship you to, and I wound up in Poland, Stalag 4. They moved us from Stalag 4. Half of us they put in boxcars, and the other half they marched. They had a forced march. And the boxcars, you had about 90 or 100 of us in that boxcar, and then 40 by 8s, just jammed, you know. And I think that's the worst experience that I ever had in my life. And somebody had a blanket, and they tied it up on one corner or the other, and they threw me up in it, and I stayed there. I don't remember ever getting out. I don't know how many days we were on the train, and then they took us to Stalag 1, which was in Bart, Germany. And once you were in a camp, you know, of course we got liberated by the Russians anyway, but they had orders to the commander. The Air Force respected our Air Force, and we respected theirs. The commander we had told our commander that they had orders from Berlin to machine gun us before they left. So we tore the floors up and dug foxholes, you know. But one morning we woke up, there was nobody there. The guards were gone. In fact, I understand they wanted us to take them prisoners, and we turned it down. We didn't want to have any arguments with the Russians. So they just, one morning we looked up and they were all gone. And the Russians came, and they weren't too happy the way we received them. They wanted us to be more enthusiastic, so they wanted us to tear everything down, the barracks and all. We said, we'll tear the barbed wire down, but not the barracks. So that's what we did. We had 20,000 guys tearing barbed wire and the fences down, the towers. I still don't feel like I'm happy about talking about it. I think I'd have kept fighting the war than being a prisoner.